In this podcast, I've got 5 Lydian licks for guitar that show different ways you can use a Lydian mode in rock music. I'll also show you how they're constructed and how you can take these examples and use them in your own Lydian mode guitar solo. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome, friends, to episode 143 of the Play Guitar Podcast. I'm Lee, and this is the podcast that's determined to make you a better guitar player. No matter if you're just starting out or you've been playing for years, this is the show that will help you become the guitarist that you've always wanted to be. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and also check out the description for all of the links that I mentioned in the show. Last week, I taught the basics and I demonstrated the sound of the Lydian mode. We found out it's a pretty easy mode to play, and its distinctive raised 4 sound, when you use it correctly, can sound fantastic. So the next step would logically be, let's start playing this cool mode. And that's what today's all about. These 5 licks demonstrate how you can use Lydian as the main sound, or you can take advantage of the sound and use it in a more strategic way. So make sure you stay till the end of the podcast. Well, for 2 reasons. First, I have a bonus Lydian jazz lick. It's over a 2-5-1 progression, which is really cool. And then I'll also share where you can download the free Lydian licks PDF with all of these licks in both tab and standard notation. Here's the first one, and it uses sequences and also a few octaves, and all of this is over 1 chord. Our first note is an open E, easy stuff. And then we've got 12 on the B, 11 on the G. I'm using my pinky, my 3rd finger for those. It goes to a bar 9 over the G and the B. And then here's what we're really looking at. We're going to bar the 11th fret. 11, 11, 11 on the B, G. Looks like an A chord, the B, G, and D string. Next, we have a little hammer on and pull off run, starting on an A sharp right there. So we're in Lydian, sliding up to an open to the 11th. That's a major 3rd sound. Then we repeat our opening phrase again, but we end this time with octaves. So we're going from a high octave F sharp to G sharp. So then on the B string, we slide up to 16, which is the E flat. And then we come back and finish it off from a 12 to 14. That's B to C sharp. And end on A sharp, which is our Lydian sound right there. Let's take a look at our second lick. This is a major over E, and then using Lydian over an F sharp. So let's take a look at the licks. We're up here at the 12th fret with the pinky on the low E string. We're just going up a major scale with an A. We're not actually raising it yet. But now we're getting to our next chord, which is an F sharp major. We do a trill from 9 and 11 on the D string and come back 1 fret. And that's the 8th fret on the D string. There's our A sharp. And it happens on the first beat of when F sharp major comes in. Starting off with the Lydian sound. So our next run is 16th notes using an E major 7th arpeggio. Ending on the D sharp on the 7th of E. And then we have 11, 12, 9 on B to the tonic note. 11, 9 on G. Back to the major 7th. Then we're doing a tonic to the 5th, E to B, and then ending below that 1/2 step, which is our A sharp, which really features the Lydian sound. So in lick 3, we did Lydian in major diatonic progressions, just what you would normally play in a major key. But Lydian's in there. We didn't even pay attention to it before, but you hear it. Let's go through the chords first. So we had a B chord, a C sharp minor chord, and then an E chord. So in this case, we're going to be in the key of B. This would be our 1 chord, our 2 chord, and then our 4 chord. When we just play B major over B, that's our major sound. Over C sharp minor, we get that Dorian sound. But over the E, the B major scale naturally puts in that A sharp, that raised 4. So for the moment, while the E chord is playing, we're getting a little of that Lydian sound. And we didn't even have to think about it. We're just playing B major over the whole thing. It's on the B string 7th fret. And then we have 9 to 8 on G, back up to that 7th on the B string. Kind of a major 3rd, 4th to the tonic over B. And then we have a little run. And this is where we're going to get our Lydian note in. So we're over E at this point. And there's our second note of our 16th note run. Is our A sharp, gives our Lydian sound over the E. And then we're back to B. Same as the first time through, but this time and we have that 8 on the D string, the A sharp, twice in this run, and we end back on the B. So just a standard major progression, but we're focusing on E. We actually had the E chord last twice as long as all the other chords, so we could really hear that A sharp in there and give us a really neat Lydian sound. Okay, let's pick this one apart. So number 4 is called Legato Lydian. We're doing a ton of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and we're going to feature the sharp 4 in a lot of those. We start off on the B string with a hammer-on pull-off from the major 7th to the tonic, back to the major 7th. And then we come down, that's 4, 5, 4 on B, and then 6, 4, 3, the 3rd fret of the G string. That's our Lydian note there. That's the raised A. So, and we're just basically after that going down the major scale and ending kind of like we started on a major 7th to a tonic. Now the second half of this lick repeats the theme. So we're hammer on and pulling off all the way back down to the 3rd fret of the G string, which is our A sharp, our Lydian note. But now we have a hammer-on run up higher. It starts off on our A sharp. So 3, 4, 6 on G, 4, 5, 7 on the E, and then pull off to the 5. Okay, pretty cool. Let's check out lick number 5. We call the string skipping Lydian. Our first note is the 11th fret on the B string. And then we're going to go to 13 on the D string. So we're skipping the G string altogether. Of course, in an E tonality, when we use the 11th fret of the B string, that's our A sharp. So we're already hearing Lydian coolness right away. So we're using the 13th fret on the D string as a pedal tone going from 11 to 12. I'm using my pick for the D string and my third finger to pluck the B string there. And now we have 16th note runs starting from the 14th fret of the B string down to 11, which is our Lydian sound, all the way up to the major 7th, the 11th fret on the high E. And then we're going to do a different pedal tone. So now we're down to the G string. And so we have 11 on the G string, and I'm going to use my pinky on my fretting hand to hit that 14 and hit that pedal tone. So, and this, we go back and forth between 11 and 13 on the G. And now we're going to (11, 14 on the D, 11, 13 on the G, and then we're going to end on our Lydian note. That's 11 on the B string. That's our A sharp. So a lot of string skipping, but really featuring the Lydian sound with all of those A sharps at the beginning of the lick and at the end of the lick. I'm so glad you stuck around. Here's our bonus lick. This is a jazz 2-5-1. That's the typical chord progression that a jazz player plays. What we're going to do is, instead of just using the major scale over the 1 chord, we're going to use the Lydian mode over the 1 chord. Okay, let's take a look at our bonus lick here. This is F sharp minor 7, B7, and E major 7. Those are our chords. We start off just really a very simple F sharp minor 7 arpeggio. On B7, we start off on the minor third to a B arpeggio, surrounding the major third of the final chord, which is E major 7th. We start off on the major third to the tonic, back to the major third to the 5th. So just an arpeggio. Here's where Lydian comes in. We go down a half step below the 5th. That's the 8th fret on the D string. And do a little bit of a sequence to end us on the 5th of E major 7th. So using that one small change in the 2-5-1 only over the E major 7th chord made a huge difference, and all we did was just shifted one note away from the regular old plain old vanilla major scale. So now that you've seen and gone through all of these licks, make sure you pick up the free PDF. It's got the tab and standard notation for all of the licks. I've got them posted in our Facebook group. That's playguitargroup.com. Easy to get to. We're going to go ahead and end it. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining me today for the Play Guitar Podcast. Make sure to hit the button below to subscribe to the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get all of my content as soon as it comes out. For more episodes, lessons, and ways to get involved with the guitar community, just visit playguitaracademy.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next episode.